Hey Bubs, it's me. I just found your earphones on my coffee table. I don't know if you noticed that you're missing your earphones, and I'm hoping that you have an extra pair. I think you said you do, but if you want, I can give them back to you on Tuesday. So I just wanted to let you know that I have them. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Love you. Bye.
Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
Number 4.
Number 4. Yes. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
This is our anniversary show.
Of being together.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Even though our first date was in April of 2018, we celebrate our anniversary in August because we were allowed to see other people up until then.
Well, I wasn't seeing other people.
Oh.
I don't think we really talked about that, but I wasn't seeing other people when this was going.
You could have fooled me.
No, I wasn't, Bub.
Oh, good.
No, I really wasn't. I can honestly tell you I was not going on long dates with other guys.
Nice.
I can tell you that right now.
I wasn't dating other guys at the time either, so.
You weren't dating anyone at the time, were you?
No guys, no. That's not
no
much
women?
No women, no guys especially. I stopped dating guys a lot earlier than that.
Oh my goodness. No, you're not into men.
I'm not into men.
No woman, no guy. I'm just kidding. No. Yeah, number 4.
Yeah.
Number 4. Can you believe it?
Good
I can't
number.
believe it.
Good number.
Good number. I can't believe the years have gone by so fast. Even though we had those 2 years that weren't so great, but the 2 years that everybody was going through, I mean.
Mm-hmm. In that period of time, things were slowed down a bit.
Yeah.
But now it feels like we're back where things are moving quickly.
I hope so. I hope so. Part of me is worried that it's going to happen again. And I really think that would be a horrible thing to do. The ones who are actually pushing it. It would be a horrible thing to do because people are already suffering financially, and we need some good air.
There is a conspiracy, sorry to interrupt you,
okay,
that I don't necessarily believe in, but it has a little bit of merit.
Okay.
And the theory goes something like this, that COVID is dangerous, but not the most dangerous disease we could ever have. But the reason that we had all the shutdowns was to prepare us and see how quickly we could close society in case we get something that's even more deadly, like 3 or 4 times more deadly than COVID, that comes along in a couple more years, since we're experimenting with all these different viruses.
I think it's even worse than that. I think it has really nothing to do with preparedness, but it has a lot to do with power, control, and let's just see how many people would rather be at the government's mercy than the way that they used to do it. I think it's a lot more dangerous than what. I'm not dangerous, but I think there's a lot more at stake than just preparedness.
I don't know, to be honest. There's interesting arguments on all sides. As you know, when COVID started, I went through the motions. At first, I don't know if this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Then I'm like looking at the numbers and realizing people are dying and hospitals are filling up. But then I started to talk to more people. I have a friend of mine whose brother was a doctor in New York when COVID was going on. Mm-hmm. And according to my friend, and I know all this is hearsay, mm-hmm. his brother only got 1 mask to last him throughout the pandemic. And his brother never got COVID.
Okay.
So,
but
I started to become more skeptical when the stuff with the vaccines were going on, because first they were telling us they're 90% effective and you don't really have to worry about COVID. And then everybody started getting it who had vaccines.
Right.
And then it's like they have boosters and they still got COVID.
Exactly.
And I think what I could say now is you're probably better protected with the vaccines and the boosters. At the same time, I could see why people don't want to get that stuff now in a more clear way.
Yeah. No, I don't think you're protected at all from those things. In fact, because I think about what really is a vaccine. Like if you think about the flu shot, which if it really was a vaccine to protect you from the flu, then people wouldn't be getting the flu who still had the shot.
Yeah.
And these shots, people still got them on the shots, even if they were mild symptoms. But the people who didn't get them on the shots, the people who didn't get them that did not have the shots, a lot of them got through it and then they never got it again. So I think that we have come to the conclusion, I think the both of us anyway, that, people are going to make their own choices. There are so many ways that you could handle COVID, with or without therapeutics, with or without shots, and just let people be and let people take care of themselves and never mind, take care of yourself before you think about anybody else's health, I think.
And I think it's sad that so many people have died because of COVID, right? And I'm sorry about the loss of life, but at some point we do have to move on from it.
Well,
and something I was thinking about earlier, sorry to interrupt you again,
okay.
But I guess I had heard people made this comment, and it's starting to resonate with me more and more. Pharmaceutical companies are evil, but it's like we're supposed to give them this one and say, okay, they're evil most of the time, but this time they did something good with coming up with the vaccine. And that's not necessarily the case, right? So there's the obvious, how effective are they really? But then you go a little bit deeper and you realize, well, our government paid for the development of those vaccines. And now the pharmaceutical companies, they get rich by selling the doses to our government, which may distribute them to us for free. And then they sell them to other nations. And they own the patents on those vaccines. So if you think that the vaccines are effective, well, that's great. But why is it that if this is really a do-gooder thing, we can't make the make the patents free so that other countries who can't afford them can have access to the vaccine?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the one of the good things that came out of this is that now Big Pharma is even more exposed because of this. And what they're willing to market. Now it's gotten so crazy to where they are coming up with shots for babies between 6 months and is it 2 years old?
Something like that.
I'm like, these babies don't need that because their immune systems are they're still growing babies. And there have been times where babies have gotten COVID, but they didn't really get it very badly, and it just went through their system. And kids are not. Kids may get COVID, but they only get it for like maybe a day or so, and that's happened with my own nieces and nephew, where they weren't even sick for very long.
That happened with my nephew.
Yeah, so. They're trying to force this on kids, and that's what really makes me upset, is that it's one thing if you're trying to force it on adults and they decide that they don't want to take it, but the babies can't decide that. These babies cannot decide that.
I completely hear you, and I have heard cases of babies dying from COVID, but it's very, very rare. And what I would say is, if you're going to give your kids the COVID shot, just do some research on it.
Yeah, I think that parents of young children need to be proactive and don't just rush them off to a pharmacy or the clinic to put a shot in their baby when they don't know what's in it. I just think that people really do need to know what they're putting into their body so that they can make an informed choice, and they don't need some crazy person telling them that you have to take it or else. And I feel bad for the doctors too, because these doctors, they have chosen not to take it either. They don't want to take it because they don't feel like they need it. And also, the doctors who have been forced to put on people's death certificates that they did die of COVID, but they didn't die of it. So some people have died, but it wasn't of COVID. It's with COVID and other comorbidities.
Sometimes,
So,
sorry to interrupt you again, but sometimes it's not even comorbidities. I was watching a story. It was on the local news and it was in 2020, so it was fairly early on. And they were saying that somebody died in a motorcycle accident with COVID, but they were near the end of it. And they said that the doctors had to put it down as they died of COVID.
yeah, some of these doctors are being forced.
Yeah.
So it's not that not everybody has died. Not everybody has died of it, and the people that have died with it, the doctors were forced to say this is the only thing that they died of. It wasn't pneumonia. So I think it's doctors and nurses are really having a hard time too.
Now you're more extreme than I am.
What?
Well, in the sense that I do believe people who are dead now there are people who have died who would still be alive had it not been for them catching COVID. I strongly believe that there's a fair number of people out there. Having said that, there was a lot of hype around it, and people should do their own research into the vaccines, because you just hear so many cases of people having these bad cases of COVID after having the vaccine and boosters.
I worry about the women, because I've heard cases where women have had miscarriages because of it. They've had miscarriages. People that have got clots.
Yeah.
There have been actual deaths from the shots. And when they looked into, when they went to examine the bodies, there was some major clotting. And you shouldn't be clotting when after you got a shot.
And but I also heard that COVID causes weird clotting things too, and that young people have developed strokes with COVID, and they think it has to do with the way it makes you clot. So I'm of so many different minds of the whole COVID thing, especially since we don't know for sure, but it definitely looks like our government played a role in making COVID, like actually in the labs, making like the human form of it.
No, that was the Chinese, Bubs.
But I believe our government helped to fund some of those experiments.
Talk to Dr. Fauci about it.
Oh.
He's the one that was saying, hey, we got to get ready for a pandemic. And then look what happened. There was a coronavirus, who we thought, a lot of us thought that it came from a wet market, but it really looks like it came from a lab in Wuhan.
That's what the evidence is pointing to. And again, it's not, I don't know if we'll ever have the full details of that story.
There are definitely some players in the gain of function research, I believe, that has gotten us into this mess. And there have been doctors that were speaking out against people like Dr. Anthony Fauci, who has completely led a lot of people astray.
And it's weird. Near the start of the pandemic, I was very pro Fauci, and now I'm not.
I mean, if you're gonna hear somebody who has changed their minds on whether protesters, or I shouldn't even call them protesters, rioters, don't have to be masked up, even though they're vandalizing stuff or they're hurting people, but everybody else has to be inside masked up.
Yeah, that was a weird thing to me, babes, too. Yeah. And we talked about this at the time, is I didn't understand how they were telling people don't gather in large crowds during COVID unless you're part of Black Lives Matter.
Exactly. And it's like, well, wait a minute. They're a large crowd. They're a large group, but they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything constructive except for burning things. You know what I mean? I mean,
I have to push back for you a little bit. There were people out there who were just trying to peacefully protest, and I understand that it was outside.
Yeah. And
you're less likely to catch COVID if you're outside.
Right.
But I would make the counter argument that people are still kind of close together. They're yelling chants, which I'm all in favor for. I'm all in favor for chanting when you're protesting, and you're doing it a lot, night after night after night, for months on end with a lot of people, and a lot of them peacefully. But while I'm for that in normal times, I think if you're in COVID and a lot of people in the medical community said you could do this, it's kind of hypocritical to also say, you can't gather in crowds.
Well, he also was hypocritical when he said, "Hey, you can stay home, but if you're on a Tinder date, feel free to sleep with whoever you want to."
I didn't hear about that.
It was a strange thing that he said. Like, okay, so it's okay. It's not okay to be without a mask if you're in an arena, but when it comes to going on online dating services and you're inviting somebody over, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Take your clothes off, be uninhibited. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? He even got COVID, by the way.
Yeah, I think he's doing okay with it, though. Because it was fairly recently that he caught it. And I don't remember the Tinder thing. That doesn't mean he didn't. That doesn't mean he didn't say it. It's just
it was just an obnoxious.
Hit my world.
It was just an obnoxious comment that I'm like, well, you should just shut up now because you were wrong on the double masking. You were wrong on telling certain people to stay inside with their masks on,
and he also lied to us at the beginning and said that we didn't need masks. And then like a month later, it comes out that he says we do. People should wear masks. So like, what is it?
Yeah, well, I've heard from a lot of doctors and nurses who have said, and they've been working in the medical field for a long time, that the only really good masks are the N95 ones.
Yep.
If you know how to fit them. And the only reason why you should ever use a mask in the doctor's office is if you're in the ER and you're working with an open cavity. Otherwise, you shouldn't be wearing a mask for 8 hours a day. And if you're going to wear a mask, you have to change it every couple of hours because it really isn't healthy to have that mask on your face the whole time that you're working. It's just unsanitary. So they're also and doctors have also said that even if you have a mask on, especially the cloth masks, they really don't protect you against viruses.
Okay, so I've heard that the K95 mask is N95, I'm sorry, is like the best form of, you get like 90-something% effectiveness of protecting you against COVID. And I've heard that cloth masks are a lot less effective, but they still do help some. It's not like you put them on and it doesn't increase your protection at all.
I mean, there was only one time I had to put a mask on in the hospital, but I didn't even have it on for long, and it's because I had a fever and I didn't know what was going on with me, and they just decided for precautions to have like a small cloth, or I'm not sure what material it was. It was a thin material that I had over my face, but I didn't even have it for long, and then when I found out what I had, I never wore a mask. I didn't wear a mask because the cancer I had obviously wasn't contagious, and I could still get air, and I just that was how it was for me. I didn't have to wear another mask.
Nice.
So so anyway.
It's complicated stuff.
Anyway, I mean, I think this is the one of those things that we as a society are so divided on. And it saddens me that we are so divided on this. And
we didn't need another thing to add to the pile of things that divide Americans.
And I think that I heard that that Joe Biden was supposed to announce that monkeypox was an emergency, but it really isn't.
No, it's not.
And there's only like 6,000 cases. It is hitting the homosexual community hard, and the only way that you can really get it firsthand is from an animal before you can pass it on to humans.
Well, no, but now that it's in the human population, you can get it from another person if you're having, sexual relations.
You can get it from another person if you're having sexual, if you're doing any kind of sexual activity, but right now it's for the most part it's hitting
the gay community.
Yes, but I heard that there were a couple of children who got it, and I really don't. I shudder to think about how they got it because it's not good. I think they don't have it anymore, but I believe that they there's only 2 children that have it.
Wow.
Or they had it.
Maybe they're just, I don't know. And what's a child too? Like under the definition of a law, a child could be a 16-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. When I think of children, I think of anybody that's under 13.
I do too, but I'm telling you the legal definition, or what I believe it to be. So
Right.
these could be kids who are sexually active, who were like 16 or 17 and just trying to get down with their partner. Which I'm in favor for.
Yeah, you're liable to lib for that.
Oh my goodness.
Big libby.
Oh my goodness. I say have fun.
Have
fun, babes. Jay was like, don't have fun, Bob.
No, that's just... Anyway, I don't need to go into that.
Yes. So COVID is still around there. Jay, whoa.
It's still around, but we have a pretty good idea of how we can handle it now, I think.
Be cool,
Don't make anyone do anything they don't need to do, and take care of yourself and never mind everybody else. That's what I say.
It's a complicated thing. People are just trying their best, and it doesn't help that the government lies about so many different things. And it goes back to something I say, is that I don't believe people when they say this is the worst time to ever be a human being. Look at the Spanish Inquisition. Yeah. Look at the Holocaust. Look at living under Chairman Mao's regime. And those are just a few different examples. There's many, many others. But what I do believe, the one thing that I believe it's harder to be a human now than ever before is I think it's a lot harder to disseminate information now than ever before in human history. Because there's so many different factions.
Right. Well, the way that I see it is that we are living in exciting times.
Yes.
Exciting times, yes. I would say that.
That old Chinese proverb, may you live in interesting times. That's supposed to be a curse.
Oh.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a curse.
Oh, of course, they little Jaylo.
Little Jaylo.
Yes.
So, since it's our anniversary.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about some of the things that we've noticed as a couple together in the last 4 years.
Go ahead.
I think that we... is there, and I've asked you this before and you can repeat the same things because we talked about this in private. Is there anything about me or about us as a duo, a couple, that you appreciate?
I can get very much in my own head and go off on these weird mental circles or tangents, whatever you want to refer to it as, and get very, very depressed.
Uh-huh.
And you don't do that.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, you stop me from doing that because I'll be like, well, what if this person hates me? Or what if I've wasted my life on this or that? I like that you kind of like put that in check a little bit.
What do I do to do that?
You say, I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's going to be that way.
I noticed that I would tell you, hey, you really have to stop because your mind is going around in these weird things and you got to come back now. Mm-hmm. Come back.
So that's something I really appreciate.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I like I've said, I appreciate your helpfulness because you've really gone above and beyond for me, things that a lot of guys wouldn't do.
Thank you.
And I also appreciate your protectiveness because you're always like, oh, make sure you check your door before you go to sleep. Yes. Make sure that don't open your windows when you're sleeping because that's really not a good idea. You're really good about, and some people don't care about this, but I'm glad you do that. Yeah. Sharing personal information. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you're the kind of person that is really careful about that because some guys are not. Some people are not, and they're just like, oh yeah, sure, you can have my personal information, but I'm careful about that too because you don't know what hands the information will get into, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate that you don't take yourself too seriously and you like to dance everywhere with me. If we dance together, I love that. I think that's so cool that you do that.
I really appreciate how generous you are because I can be a little bit on the stingy side sometimes. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I'm trying to be, it's just that that's just the way I am. I feel like I have to guard myself.
Yeah.
And we could go into childhood traumas and all that stuff, but that's for another time.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that you're very open and giving with people. And that you're also down to learn new things. And I think that that's great. Those are great qualities to have.
Aw.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that when you've done something wrong, you're willing to admit it, because some people don't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm learning to do that too, because I don't always like to admit that I'm wrong, but when you're wrong, you're wrong. You know, it doesn't matter if it's me or you. And I'm glad that we are able to do that, because sometimes we get into our moods, and sometimes I think I'm right, and sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I really was wrong to do that.
Yeah.
That was really stupid.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that we, as a couple, don't make it a point to stay mad for too long, and then we have to end up talking about it. And
yeah, but it's also not like a forced thing to where it's like, okay, we got to forgive so and so,
yeah,
and sweep this under the rug, pretend it never happened. We try to talk it out.
Yeah, and I think that's always important. I think talking, open communication and honesty is always, it always works. Even if you don't want to talk about it, eventually it has to be talked about.
Yeah.
Let me think. I really appreciate that even if you feel uncomfortable around a person, it doesn't matter who it is, whether I know them or not, that you're willing to give them a chance.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Because there are times where I kind of find myself in a little bit of a judgmental thought process where it's like, ew, I can't talk to this person. This person is, and I hate that. And we all go through that, don't we?
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, okay, I need to be gracious towards this person because I don't know this person, and maybe I need to just relax a bit. But I appreciate that you're willing to talk to someone, even if you don't know them, even if they may be a little bit strange.
Yeah.
But you're willing to give that person a chance. I mean, you were willing to give me a chance for crying out loud.
That's right, babes.
Like, crying out loud.
Yes. I appreciate that you are open to all different types of music.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, I am too, but to maybe a lesser extent in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate that you're also open to like different types of movies. Because that's a big, even though that doesn't sound like a big one, when you're in the pandemic and you're looking for something to watch and there's nothing else to do because everything else is closed.
Yeah.
So you can't go out to a restaurant, you can't go dancing, you can't hang out with friends. It's a big one.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. I also, it baffles me, but I think it's cool that you have like a really good relationship with your family. Yeah.
They drive me crazy sometimes, but I tell you what, I'm very, very blessed to have a family that I have, because there are some women in my position who are also blind, and they don't even talk to their families.
You're the only girl I've ever dated who I've met their mother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, good. That's good. I guess I feel glad about that. I mean, you know, my mom and I don't always agree on everything, but we are very close. She has been my number one fan. I can honestly say that. She has
all the CDs. Has a signed cover copy of the autobiography.
No, you know, she's been my number one supporter through a lot of things, through my illness with cancer, through my performances, when I've gotten really good grades in college or other schooling, my artistic endeavors with flute playing, things like that. I mean, she's so supportive.
Yeah.
She was supportive when I started living on my own, even though she didn't want to be, but she really felt like it was something that she needed to do because I was growing up and I needed to get out and do that. And she's been really one of my number one supporters. And I can honestly say that. So Shout out to my mom.
Oh.
I really appreciate, Bubs, that when I've had you listen to something that I like that you probably didn't hear before, I appreciate that you giving that a chance and giving the movies that I like a chance, because just because I like those movies, that doesn't mean that you're going to like them. And I appreciate that you gave it a chance even if you didn't like it. And
I appreciate that you've done the same thing with movies, because my taste can be a little bit offbeat. Mm-hmm. And so I'm glad that you've gone down some cinematic and musical rabbit holes with me.
Yeah, and also, even though I've watched things that are so, they're more for men.
Mm-hmm. The things that you like?
No, the things that you like.
Oh, okay.
Like some of the shows that we watch, I'm like, oh, it's such a guy show, Oh. I was willing to give it a chance, and there are some things that I did like about them, mm-hmm. even if I didn't like them all the way through.
Yes.
But yeah, I appreciate your willingness to go into my musical world and explore that with me, because there are just some things that I'm like, I can't believe you never heard this before, and some of the stuff you really like too. So I'm really very appreciative of that.
I appreciate that you don't act like you're too cool for the room. And that hasn't been a problem in every relationship that I've ever had. Mm-hmm. There have been other girls who've been, down to do things and not taking themselves too seriously. But occasionally, I have been in relationships where that has been an issue, where somebody thought that they were they were above doing everything. They're above the experience, and that can get really, really annoying.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Yeah.
That really is a turn off for me. It's like, come on, just enjoy it,
Exactly.
I appreciate that, and we are going to get into totally different artistic endeavors soon. Mm-hmm. I just joined the Greater Portland Flute Society. Mm-hmm. Shout out to them.
Shout out.
And you are going to be getting involved in some comedy improv, which I'm really excited about.
Murder mystery comedy improv, y'all.
I love that stuff too, and I'm really excited to take you to some flute things that I'm excited about doing. And I think you might have some fun too.
I really want to go to one of these flute festivals that you've told me about. They do sound like it could be really, really cool.
Yes, they are a lot of fun, and you get to meet a lot of people from different cities, and and the people that are selling flutes come from all over. I mean, at least in Seattle they do. And then Portland apparently is known for their flute society as well.
I did not know that. And I'd love to go there and hear people play them, and also maybe hear some lectures about the development of different flutes. I think that would be really neat.
Yeah, the Japanese, especially the Japanese and Asia, they make very, very good quality flutes. Mm. One of the flutes that I thought about getting was called an altus. I think it's Altus. That's a type of brand of flute, and they're an Asian flute. And the one that I have, that's a Muramatsu.
Yeah.
It's a Japanese flute, and they're really good at making good quality flutes and good head joints.
Nice.
Yeah. And part of the flute sound is coming from part of the way that you get a really good flute sound is from the head joint itself.
That's interesting.
It's fascinating to me. I'm really excited to introduce you to my world.
I'm excited to be introduced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Because I've got to introduce you to friends of mine, and, we've gone to, different musical things, and yeah.
Very good.
Very good there, Jaylo.
Yes.
Yes. I am going to leave for a while today to practice some improv. And when you were I hate to leave my little Jaylo, especially on our anniversary.
Yeah, but you're coming back.
I'm coming back. And then you could be like, guess who's back?
Back again. Wick is back.
Tell a friend. But when you were in the shower this morning, I was watching a video on how to scan your hop pass for the light rail, because I know how to do it on a bus.
Okay.
But on a light rail, it's a little bit different.
Oh.
And TriMet put out this video. At least it says the TriMet YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But it's just music playing behind.
Oh, that's annoying.
And recently I've had this thought of, I should be more proactive in the blind community.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of just saying, oh, I can't figure it out, or watching the video real closely, which is what I ended up doing, I also ended up leaving a comment in the video saying, hey, do you ever plan on making a video showing blind users how to scan their hop pass when using the light rail?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it would be good to know, especially if there's a group of blind people that are going together on the Max.
Exactly.
It would be helpful, for sure.
Yes. So hopefully that adds something to the universe there. Jaylo.
Yes. And my hot pass can also be used for light rail and buses.
Nice. I would hope so there. Jaylo.
Yes. It's not just for one part of TriMet. Anyway, that's cool though.
Yeah.
Good.
And I've been thinking about that. Like, how do I want to contribute more to the universe? I mean, the universe is like a loaded term, right? I often feel that New Age people will say the universe instead of God or their community. It's like a one-size-fits-all word.
I think, yeah, it is. It's very loaded.
Yeah.
I think maybe the best way to say it is, how can I contribute to my community?
Yeah, that's a better way to say it.
Because the universe is so big, you know, and the universe really doesn't do anything except for it being there.
Yeah, it exists.
Yeah, exactly. So if you put things out in the universe, it's not going to come back to you.
Well, it's also, if you believe in multiple universes, then it's great. I'm doing something in this universe, but what does that mean for all the other ones out there?
Now, if anyone was able to invent a time machine so that you can go back in time to other universes, then that would be contributing to...
Or just like a machine that allows you to travel to parallel universes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Still, it's very far-fetched.
Oh, but I mean, that's one of the things in sci-fi. Like, some sci-fi writers have speculated that if you go back in time and change events, you're starting a parallel universe, basically. So your universe where you traveled back still exists, but now there's this new one that you've affected. Yes, but I don't know. I've never time traveled backwards before, at least not to the best of my memory.
Huh.
Yes. But maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Yes, but not today. Well, I doubt today, but we'll see.
No, I doubt today too.
Oh.
It would be very... I mean, somebody would have to create some kind of a portal in a diner. Ba-dum-bum. No, but wouldn't that be awesome though? I don't know. Like I love the idea of walking into some diner or a shop, and you go through the closet, like the pantry, and you pass all the spices, and then there's a door that opens into another time. That would be cool.
And who knows, maybe something like that does exist in real life, but I just am unaware of it in this point in my existence.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Here's a quick religious question for you, babes.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say you die and you go to heaven.
All right.
Do you think God is going to reveal the secrets of the universe to you, or no?
Well, I heard people have said that when we get to heaven, we are going to know what we don't know now. I think that there is some truth to that. Whatever I don't know now, whatever questions I have, I think it will be revealed in time.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because if God is the creator of the universe, then he would know.
Well, good.
And we would know. And I also think that we would know, like, why did this have to happen during this time to me?
Yeah.
I think I will have very much a full understanding of why that happened to me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, good.
So, anyway.
I'm glad.
So for those friends who have died and gone to heaven that I did know, I believe that now they know what really was going on.
If they made it there.
I think they did.
Oh.
The ones that I knew anyway.
I don't know, babes.
Uh-oh.
I guess we'll find out there. Jaylo.
Yes.
Yes, if heaven is for real.
Oh, I think it is.
It's not. I don't know.
I think it is.
Time will tell there, Jaylo. But what's that thing they say? I'm not an atheist, but atheists like to say it's like the one thing that really sucks about being an atheist is you never get to say, I was right.
Well, yeah, and by then, it's already too late for you. But anyway, but yeah, these 4 years have been a blast, I will say.
Yes,
they have been quite an adventure.
That's right.
And a good one.
A good one. For the most part, with some bumps along the way.
There were some bumps along the way, but we got through those.
We did.
And we do get, we do have our squabbles as any couple does, but we managed to maneuver around them and get through them after that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that we are going to have more squabbles and more disagreements,
but that comes with the game.
It does, but that's what happens when you're learning about each other, I think.
And just yeah, exactly. When you're around somebody for so long, you should argue a little bit because it's a sign that you're both human. I
also do appreciate something I forgot to say.
What's that?
That you do pick up on my moods.
Thank you.
I think that's great. I'd like to say that that people, I'm glad that people can tell what kind of mood I'm in, and you definitely can.
Oh, thank you, babes.
Yeah.
I love you, babes.
I love you, Bob.
Give me a kiss, babes.
Why?
Because you need one, baby. It's anniversary. I'm anniversary boy.
Oh my goodness.
Babes.
Yes.
We made dinner last night.
So good.
And we decided to make chicken tiki masala based off of a Joshua Weissman YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to say anything more?
Well, I pitched the idea to you that maybe we should, to make sure that no alarms went off, that we should use my electric skillet.
Which I've never used an electric skillet before yesterday.
The electric skillet for the chicken, and I wasn't sure about the veggies, but we made it work for the veggies, actually. Mm-hmm. It was really good. I was focusing on making the rice, and I cooked the rice in my rice cooker with the coconut milk that I bought. Turned out excellent.
Yep.
It was really nice and moist. And I was also chopping up one yellow onion, which took me a while because it was a really big onion.
Oh.
And then you cooked it with the rest of the chicken and the veggies and made this really good sauce.
Yeah.
And we spiced it up with paprika, cayenne pepper, fresh ginger, fresh garlic cloves,
garam masala,
which is an Indian spice.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know. And it was so good.
Is excellent. My only thing is, babes, if we make it again, I think we should add more vegetables to the tiki masala. So do it with chicken, but also maybe add some cauliflower or some peas to it as well.
Potatoes would be really good in this dish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some maybe some small red potatoes.
It was very filling, though.
It was so good.
Yeah. And maybe also do some naan bread.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they sell it at the store, too.
Oh.
So we don't have to make it.
Oh, good. We could make it, but I hear what you're saying.
Sometimes I think in this case, because this meal takes a while to make.
Yeah.
I think the store-bought naan bread would be just as good.
Okay.
It tastes so good. It reminds me of garlic cheese bread.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
So good.
It was good stuff.
It was delicious.
I like that we did that, babes.
Yes.
I like that.
I like that.
We were listening to Blues Traveler, and then that dude who sang that song 100 Years to Live.
Five for Fighting, which I had no idea that was the name that was his stage name. I thought it was a group.
Yeah. When I first heard that song, 100 Years to Live, I thought it was
called 100 Years.
Oh, 100 Years.
Yeah.
I thought it was Dave Matthews.
No, I don't. I never got into the Dave Matthews Band. I know that they were really popular in the 90s, but I never got into them.
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
I mean, I heard the radio hits, but I don't go deep with their stuff.
Which song did you like?
Oh, I'm trying to even think now. Crash into me, baby. I'll crash into you. That song's okay.
You know, speaking of that song, Crash Into Me.
Yeah.
I forgot what countdown it was. It might have been an MTV countdown, but some people were saying like, what are the best songs to make out to? And Crash Into Me was one of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd go that far.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sexual Healing is pretty good. Sexual Healing.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
Yeah.
Any Marvin Gaye song, really. Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing.
Yeah.
You're All I Need.
You're All I Need. Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Any slow Marvin Gaye, any slow I'm trying to think. Any Sam Cooke thing. Any slow Sam Cooke thing.
Al Green is pretty good too.
Al Green. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can make out to almost anything if you like the song.
Exactly.
But Crash Into Me was one of them.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't know that song very well.
It's okay. I don't know. I've never made out to any Dave Matthews music.
No, I can honestly say I haven't either.
Nice.
Most of the time that I've made out with people was in silence and with no music.
I remember Babes being, 13 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to the radio and Crash Into Me comes. And you know that part where it's like, I'm king of the castle, you're just a rascal.
Oh, I forgot that part.
It's near the end of the song.
Okay.
And I thought he said, you're just an asshole. So I start laughing like, what did I just hear? And of course, I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
Like, how did this get on the radio? This is kind of cool that he did that. And then, like, years later, I re-listened to the song. I'm like, I think he's actually saying rascal.
Bubs.
What's
so,
up?
My friend was into this group called the Bloodhound Gang. And I never
I've heard
got
of them. I haven't listened to a lot of their stuff.
And there was one song, I don't know what it was called. My friend in high school, I was over at her place with her family. And there was one song that was like... I don't know what it was called, but in the middle of the song, it was saying something like, and I don't shave my hiney. I'm like, okay.
Nice.
Yeah, but there was a group, rock group called the Bloodhound Gang.
Yep, back in the day.
Which reminded me of a show called 321 Contact, which is it was a kids show about science. And that was on PBS. And they did a segment, and it was about a gang called the Bloodhound Gang, but it wasn't the group.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
They did a segment, and the segment was like, whenever there's trouble, we're on the double, we're the Bloodhound Gang.
Huh.
If you got the crime, we got the time. We're the Bloodhound Gang. So
nice.
it reminded me of that song. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Very good. Very good.
There are so many shows you can find on YouTube. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
I do too.
Yes. So we had dinner.
It was amazing.
Very amazing. And then we sat down to watch a movie from the early 2000s that I had heard about but never seen called I Am Sam.
I was the one who picked this one.
Yeah. Rick wasn't going to pick this one.
No. It was a long time since I saw it, but I really enjoyed the movie, and I was a little bit nervous because I knew that there were going to be things in the movie that were unbelievable.
Yeah.
That wouldn't really happen in real life. So I'm going to give a synopsis of it.
Go ahead.
Sam Dawson is working at this coffee place. I think it was like a Starbucks.
It was
a Starbucks. Okay. He was working at this coffee place. Somebody alerted him, hey, it's time. You have to go. And we see this woman giving birth, and she gives birth to a baby girl. We don't know much about this woman yet. And Sam was there to support her as she's giving birth. And they have a daughter. And I love this scene where they're like, hey, what is her name? And he's thinking, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And he's like, I know what, Lucy Diamond Dawson. And I thought, oh, that's a really cute name.
Aww.
For the baby.
For the baby.
And so he is taking care of the baby because the mom made it clear, like, oh, I didn't want to have a baby with you. This isn't my life. And you take care of the baby.
She just kind of like gets on the bus and goes away.
She gets on the bus and he's trying to. Didn't she take the baby with her?
No, she just he's holding the baby, and I think she jumps on the bus, and that's the last we see of her.
And then you hear him go, "Uh-oh."
Yep.
So he's struggling with taking care of the baby because he's not sure when she's supposed to eat. He's also not sure when she's supposed to sleep or wake up.
Yeah.
So his next door neighbor, Annie, who's also her godmother, helps him take care of the baby. And she's at home a lot, as we find out later on.
Mm-hmm.
And so she grows up and she's about 6 years old. This is a young Dakota Fanning. Sean Penn is Sam, by the way.
Yep.
And Dakota Fanning is asking him all these questions, and she realizes that he's different. But she doesn't know why. She's like, "Why are you not like other daddies? You're different." And he's like, what do you mean? She's like, "Well, none of the other daddies go to the park. I like you. You're a good daddy because you like to go to the park with me." And he likes to do all these other things with her, that kids like to do. And, they're getting really close. And one day her friend Connor, he's like this, like, he's one of these kids that likes to, he thinks he knows it all, and he likes to kind of, he thinks that he can just make fun of her dad because he doesn't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's calling her dad retarded, and I like what she goes, "Well, it really takes one to know one." And she doesn't see anything more. Well, she thinks that, well, maybe if I act like I'm not smart, then I can be just like my dad. I can be just as smart as my dad if I just hold back in my classes. And they notice that something's wrong. And a lot of things happen to Sam. He gets arrested for soliciting a prostitute when he didn't know that she was a prostitute. He loses it when they're at a Bob's Big Boy. He's with Lucy at a Bob's Big Boy. Because he's not able to get pancakes.
They usually go to IHOP on Wednesday.
Right.
But your girl Lucy really wanted to get some of that Big Boy, so they go there instead.
Right. And then he's getting ready to give Lucy a birthday party because she's turning 7. And something happens, and this lady from Child Protective Services is there. And he's like, "Well, you have to get down because Lucy's going to be here soon." And so, and he doesn't understand why she's over there. And everything goes crazy because her friend Connor says, "Well, Lucy said that she was adopted."
Lucy runs away, and your man Sean Penn was kind of strong-arming the kid. And Lucy gets taken away by Child Protective Services.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why are you talking like that?
I don't know.
Like Child Protective Services.
Yeah. Keep going, babes.
Well, you can chime in if you like, because there's a lot of stuff that happens.
There's a lot of stuff that happens. Now he's in the system. He doesn't know what to do. Goes to court. They say you have to get a lawyer. He doesn't really understand them. But one of Sam's friends finds an ad for this law agency in, I believe, the Yellow Pages.
Yep.
Back when they had them.
The Yellow Pages, yep.
Which, for kids listening, that was basically these big books with telephone numbers.
The Yellow and White Pages, yep.
Advertisements on them.
Yep.
He goes down to see your girl, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, and she works with cases, and a lot of the cases that she has are pro bono, which means it's
No, they're not.
they're not. I'm sorry, they're not pro bono.
We're gonna get to that in a
Okay.
minute. Do you want to take over again, or do you want me?
No. Go ahead and handle this part. Be like,
She blows him off at first and says, I might have a friend who could possibly help you. I'll search for her number and see if I can find it.
Right.
Sam goes about his life and doesn't hear from your girl, Michelle Pfeiffer. So he goes, what's her name in the movie?
Her name is Rita Harrison.
He goes back to Rita's office, I think during some sort of party.
And then he goes, hi, did you ever get a hold of your friend? And he's very proactive.
And she's blowing him off again. And Rita's colleagues see this and say, well, what's going on with this guy? And she's like, oh, this pro bono case I'm taking. Everybody starts laughing at her. They're like, you doing pro bono?
Oh, right.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, you doing pro bono?
Eventually, he goes back to the office. And Rita is trying to blow him off again, but her friends from the party come by, and Shoshi is kind of forced into saying, yeah, Sam, I'm your lawyer.
Yeah, because remember, wasn't there like another case she was handling?
Yes, and the woman was crying in her office.
Yeah.
And Sam goes to comfort her.
She's like, it's okay.
She gets him out of the office. And things go crazy from there. Do you want to continue?
Yeah, so now he's got the lawyer who is handling his case pro bono, and he's very excited and he hugs her, which is interesting because realistically autistic people are not very affectionate. That's
what I've heard.
Yeah. Things are might be looking up for Sam. She goes and asks his friends, well, what makes Sam a good father? And some of them can't answer it. They're saying, oh, well, he likes green things. And it was an interesting scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the friends said, well, he likes to, what did he say about, like, he's basically saying that he likes to do all kinds of things with Lucy and, take her to the park and whatever it is.
Yeah.
He said, I forgot. And then he goes to court and his friends were there for support. And this is a weird scene where, well, he was being prosecuted by Mr. Turner and he was making him sound like he was so incompetent he couldn't even tie his own shoes. Rita was also questioning people that he knew, like Annie Cassell, who's his neighbor, and Lucy's godmother. And talking about what was going on with your childhood. She was also talking to somebody that was raised by a mom that I believe had autism.
Something like
that. A mental disability.
Oh, it wasn't her, babes. It wasn't the neighbor. It was Mary Steenburgen.
No, I know. That's what I mean.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, so I was talking about two different people.
Gotcha.
Well, Mr. Turner both questioned the two women, and then when he got to Annie, for some reason he was saying, well, you've been in your apartment for such a long time, and you haven't been out for so many years. And then he goes back, and then he goes into her childhood, and she couldn't talk about her father, so there's implications that maybe she was severely abused, even though she had all these accomplishments.
Yep.
And they never brought it up again. Like, she had an episode in the car.
But it's not that well explained.
It wasn't that well explained. Like, she was going through something traumatic or whatever, and like maybe she was having a panic attack, but it was never explained why that was happening.
Yeah.
So things are going on. Rita is trying to prepare for Sam's case in front of Mr. Turner. But Rita's going through some turmoil in her life, like she's having a hard time with her husband, and she's having a hard time connecting with her son because she goes to work a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not really taking the time to be with her family, and she's just got this incredibly huge caseload. And so he goes to court again, and he does well in front of her, But then when it gets to Mr. Turner, he loses it and he's very upset, and he's like, "Oh yeah, maybe that's what I am, that I'm not, I shouldn't get Lucy back, and I don't want to handle this anymore." And you really have to feel for the guy because he was really tired, really tired of showing that he's competent to be a good dad.
Yeah.
So for a while, he kind of gives up on calling Lucy, gives up on visiting Lucy. She ends up with a married couple, and Rita convinces him, no, you can really get Lucy back. You have to try harder. You can get Lucy back, but you really have to try harder. And he agrees to do that. And go on, please.
He gets these jobs, finds an apartment that is close to the foster parents.
Yep.
Comes over to the spot where Lucy's staying. She kind of is happy to see him. She'd freaked out on him She freaked out on him. And then some time goes by and he's living in the neighborhood. And she starts sneaking out at night, going over to his place. And there's a scene where he returns her to the foster mom, but she's asleep, meaning Lucy's asleep.
Yeah.
But she keeps coming back. And the mom is trying to relate to her. And she gives her like a corn muffin and says, "You can go over there whenever you want."
You used to tell me.
Yeah. Eventually, the foster mom comes over the day before they're supposed to appear in court together with Lucy, who is asleep, and hands her over to Sam and says, I'm going to be on your side in the courtroom tomorrow.
Yeah,
I've changed my mind.
And normally that wouldn't happen in real life.
Yeah.
Normally they would be fighting tooth and nail to get the daughter. So, and then he said, well, she does need a mom too. And so they go to the court, and then the last scene is where you see Lucy in a soccer game.
And he's refereeing.
He
picks her up and runs around the field with her.
Yeah.
I would give this film a mild thumbs up with a bunch of caveats to it. I think a problem in this movie, and he's a great actor, but Sean Penn kind of overdoes a little bit in the court scenes.
Yeah.
And that might not be as much his fault as much as it is the fault of the writer and the director of this film.
Right.
I kind of think if this was real life and he acted up in court one or two times,
he would get taken out of court.
And they'd either assign an attorney or it would just be Michelle Pfeiffer in the courtroom, unless it was the day where he was testifying.
Right, exactly.
There's that, and there's also, I don't see the logic in having his friends there in the courtroom. And okay, maybe Sam would have done that, but you think that Michelle Pfeiffer would have put the kibosh to that.
Exactly. She would have been like, nope, they can't be there.
Yeah. There's too many instances where the film sacrifices reality for a cheap joke. And I'm all for cheap jokes, but not at the expense of the reality of the film.
What do you mean by a cheap joke?
Well, it's funny that his friends are in the courtroom, but it takes away from the reality of the story.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
I mean, it was funny when they did the answering machine scene.
Yeah, but that's not in the courtroom.
I know that. It's not in the courtroom. I mean, it was funny when they did that. And, the friends, I think it was like 3 of them, right?
Something like that.
And they had their own little quirks, and how they liked video night at such and such house every Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I wish there was more explanation of what was going on with the neighbor.
Yeah, I wish we knew what was going on with Annie, because we never really go into that.
There's also when Michelle Pfeiffer goes over to see Sam, near the end of the movie, or not, closer to the end, after he's lost custody of your girl, but he's about
Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy. And she's saying you should try harder. She talks about how she's lost all of her other cases, but there's no mention of that before the scene.
Yeah. There was a really heartbreaking scene when she was saying that her marriage is falling apart, and she says really horrible things to her son. And she's trying to connect with both of them.
Yeah, that's later on in the same part.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. But how I did like that part when he's like, you're like, you don't understand. You don't have any feelings because, how can I work so hard? I know I'm going to butcher it. Like, I worked so hard just to get there and I'm not there yet, basically. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you don't understand how that is. You're perfect, right? You're perfect and you don't have feelings about any of this. And she was explaining, well, my husband's cheating on me with somebody more perfect than I am. And in turn, I'm really horrible to my son because I can't connect with my own kid.
I beat him and lock him downstairs every night.
That's what she said.
Okay, she didn't say that. It was implied. That was not implied.
Goodness.
So there's that stuff. I didn't believe the stuff with the foster mom returning Lucy, and then say, "Oh, I'll be in the courtroom tomorrow, but I'll be on your side."
Yeah, that normally wouldn't happen. Usually, if they felt like the person was incompetent, they would not vouch for that person.
Yeah, and the other thing that I was upset about, because I'm like, you're just doing this because this is a Hollywood thing, and you think that your audience is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Pfeiffer lets Sam borrow one of her husband's suits, and it's going to be a big day in the courtroom. But Sean Penn has to work at Starbucks before then.
Right, and then, of course, most likely he's going to get something on it.
Well, one, you think you would take that day off of work just because another big part, not a big part, but it's mentioned in the movie, the bus system. He rides the bus, and he's riding it in LA in the early 2000s. I rode the bus system in LA in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very hard to navigate.
I would imagine
or was back then.
Yeah.
I think you skip work for something that important. And if you're going to go to work at a Starbucks, maybe you don't wear the suit and tie there and have stuff all over you when you go into the courtroom.
And then and I did like that scene where he comes back and she's like, "What happened to you?" And he's like, "What's that smell? Is that mint?"
Yeah.
Because he gets like all this, he's like, "Well, the blender had an explosion." That was kind of a funny scene, but it shouldn't have been in there.
Yeah, and see, that's my thing of them doing a cheap joke over the reality of the characters in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the fault of the director and the screenwriter. Is there's a lot of instances in the film where the joke is more important than the reality of the movie. Now, having said that, there's a lot of good stuff in this movie, so I would give it a mild thumbs up.
Well, that's interesting.
Sorry, I have one more complaint about it.
What's that?
Or one more question. Maybe it's a complaint, maybe it's not. It's interesting to me that when she was a baby, no one from the state had her taken away.
Yeah. I also noticed something too, because remember when I told you that there are people with autism that typically are not affectionate?
Yeah.
Remember that part when she was crying?
Yeah.
And I think Sam was trying to comfort her.
Yeah.
Normally that wouldn't really happen,
mm-hmm.
which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yes.
That they put it there.
Yes. I liked his relationship with Dakota Fanning.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Michelle Pfeiffer was really good in the movie. So I did like it.
I liked the actors who played his friends because they were really good.
Yeah.
They really did their job really well.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a good movie.
And I like the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one more negative is they could have cut out the Bob's Big Boy scene.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. That just wasn't, they could have just talked about it and not put it in there.
But I'm wondering,
mm-hmm.
what does this film say about parenting in the disability community?
Well, it seems to me that I know each state is different. But if you have a disability, especially if it's a mental disability, you really have to prove, you really have to have valid proof that you can take care of at least, to take care of children or at least one child?
I was involved with the NFB
Mm-hmm.
for a number of years.
Yeah.
And I guess in some extent you could say I still am involved with them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I've heard of a few cases, and obviously this was their slant on it,
Mm-hmm.
but where children would be removed from the home strictly on the basis of the parent was blind.
Mm. Well, I won't go too deep into the story, but I know a little bit about cases like that because I knew someone who was blind that was going to court for it was family court to show that he was in fact able to take care of the kids by himself. And he had caseworkers coming by to check on the kids, and he was also this also had to do with his ex-wife, and that a lot of the things that were going on as far as the kids learning, because I can't go too far into this, but
was the ex-wife blind or no?
No,
okay.
The ex-wife was not.
Nice.
But he was proving over and over again that he was more competent than she was. I'll just say that.
Okay.
I won't go too far into it because it is a legal case. But yeah, I mean, and yeah, so it's interesting, isn't it?
And in Oregon, being blind is considered an intellectual disability.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Still?
It's not that way in every state. And
Still.
I only know this, well, as of 2021. So I'm assuming, yes, still. I know this because we discussed earlier about how when the vaccines came out, I was all for getting vaxxed.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know if I fell on the list of people who were eligible early on.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I'm on the infamous Clubhouse,
Mm-hmm.
the much talked about social media app,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in a room with some ladies from Portland,
Mm-hmm.
one of whom I knew she used to be friends with an ex of mine, and then my ex beat her up. But now I think they're friends.
Oh, right.
But I don't know.
Okay.
But anyways, the other one who was in the room was like, did you get vaxxed yet? And I'm like, no, I'm waiting. She says, you can get vaxxed in Portland if you're blind because it's considered an intellectual disability. And I checked it out. Apparently she was correct.
You couldn't get vaxxed?
No, I could because blindness is an intellectual disability in the state of Oregon.
But wait a minute, though.
Go ahead.
I know the person that you're talking about, the one that you were in the room with. One of them, anyway.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, both her and her husband are both blind.
Yeah, it was the other
children.
person in the room who said it, that I could get the vaccination. And the one with the husband and they're both blind, she was just in the room at the same time.
An intellectual disability? How is that possible?
I don't know. I'm just telling you.
No, my question is that, like, how is that possible? Because there are yes, there are blind people that have other things like autism, but not every blind person is intellectually disabled.
Right.
So that doesn't make any sense to me.
But laws are written differently.
I hope that's changed. I hope that changes.
Maybe you need to fight for it.
That's ridiculous. That is insane.
Fight, Jaylo. Fight.
I don't know if I'm...
Every king, you got me like bad bubs.
The bubs.
I love you, babes. I'm just having fun.
Goodness. Not today now. Not today.
Not today.
But I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed it slightly more than you did.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, and so go out and see it. It's worth seeing. I'm probably not going to watch it again, but I'm glad I watched it once.
I think the other sister is better than this one.
I would agree.
Yeah. I like the other sister better.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some funny things in I Am Sam that I like.
Yeah. In 1999, I also burped back then.
Oh, you burp a lot.
Thank you. Summer of that year, I am working at a radio station. KBPS.
Or is it KPBS?
Oh my goodness.
KBPS. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Is it still there?
KBPS. I don't know, actually. It was ran by Benson High School.
Okay.
So I had a summer job there.
Mm-hmm.
And Woodstock 99 happened. I did not go.
Obviously not.
But last night we watched the HBO documentary Woodstock 99, Peace, Love, and Rage. It basically goes through... I'll give like a very quick overview.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can talk more about the specifics. It goes through like, mentions the original Woodstock in 1969. Talks about how great and loving the 94 version of the festival was. And then says that the people behind it, Michael Lang, and I forgot the other guy's name.
John something.
Wanted to do something for 1999. They find this old army base and decide this would be a great place to hold it because nothing says Woodstock and peace and love like the U.S. military.
Right.
Plus, they have better control over the gates.
Honestly, that didn't make... When you told me that the first time, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Why would they have it at an army base of all places?
So they throw the festival. Now, I'd seen this documentary about a week and a half ago, but two, I remember hearing about the debacle that was Woodstock 99 when it was going on. I was listening to the radio broadcasts off and on throughout that weekend.
Yeah.
And I remember when the riots were going on because I believe Red Hot Chili Peppers talked about it in their sets.
Right.
So people go there to have a good time and things start falling apart immediately. The stages are a good distance away from each other. It was a very hot weekend. They were charging $4 for a bottle of water.
Right. Which is ridiculous to me.
It is. People were taking baths in like the
shower troughs.
The troughs,
which should not have happened because they're supposed to be for water only. Yeah.
But the regular shower areas were basically flooded. It sounded like.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, there was flooding everywhere because it was like this 2 communal showers. Not only that, but the porta potties were unusable by that time, and so there was like sewage just seeping out of it. It was disgusting.
And back in 94, people would roll around in the mud, so people started doing that at 99 and didn't realize that they were getting shit all over themselves.
So not only did the place smell, but everybody else did.
Yep.
Or a lot of people did anyway. Not everybody did that, but a lot of people did. Right.
There were cool performances the first day. You had James Brown.
Yep.
I believe opened it up.
Yep.
Live was there. A whole bunch of other people.
Yep.
But there's already starting to be a little bit of tension.
Yes.
Day 2 happens.
Wait a... Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that in the other parts.
Yeah, this one I'm painting in kind of broad strokes, and then we can go over the specifics when we do the recap.
Right.
You add Limp Bizkit, Kid Rock, not in this order.
Rage Against the Machine.
And the film also talks too about this was kind of like the festival that was the backlash to the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and all those pop groups.
All the teeny boppers that girls like to listen to.
Because at one point on the first day, it might have been Korn who had these cardboard cutouts of the Backstreet Boys that they just start beating up.
Right, which is just stupid.
It's stupid in retrospect. It's kind of funny in the moment if you are unaware that this is just building up rage.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So one of the things that's pointed out in the movie is the set list for the main shows, because they also had raves and whatnot going on.
Yeah.
Near the end of the second day was Limp Bizkit, Rage Against the Machine,
and Metallica.
And Metallica was going to close off the shows for the night.
Yeah.
So Limp Bizkit goes on. And Fred Durst, being the lovable douchebag that he is, but it's not all his fault, but he does have some part in this.
Yeah.
Kind of encourages people to release their rage.
Yeah, and it didn't help that they played this song. They were singing the song "Break Stuff,"
which is probably my favorite Limp Bizkit song, but you got to kind of read the room too.
Yeah.
At one point in the movie, somebody says, even beer ads say to drink responsibly.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And he is crowd surfing on a piece of plywood, encouraging people to kind of fight the system in a way.
Right.
Yeah. Not a good look for him.
No, not a good look. And I know that the promoters of the concert, the people that put together Michael and John, were like, this guy was a complete moron.
But who booked the complete moron?
Exactly. And if there were some rules in place, then that wouldn't have happened. They wouldn't have invited Limp Bizkit if they really wanted. If they didn't want all this chaos, they probably should not have invited Limp Bizkit.
Well, you could have invited Limp Bizkit, but maybe have like, I don't know, Enya go on before him.
Not Enya.
You know what I mean. Somebody who's a little bit more low-key.
Or Jewel. Yeah, or Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, and maybe you don't have Rage and Metallica follow up.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like 3 angry groups in one set.
Yeah.
Or 3 sets, rather.
3, but they're like back to back to back.
Yeah, exactly. There's no middle ground.
In the film, we hear somebody reading the diaries of somebody named Dave, who went to Woodstock 99 with his friends.
Yep.
And one of the things that he was very excited to do was see Metallica in the mosh pit.
Right.
So Metallica comes on. He's there with his other friend named Dave.
Dave, yeah.
Because they came there with a few people.
Yeah.
And his friend Dave leaves the other Dave.
Yeah.
And just goes off, thinks nothing of it.
Yeah.
Metallica's show happens. A lot of craziness. The next day, Dave and his crew are looking for the other Dave. At first, they're not really thinking about it.
And they're like, oh, maybe, he's crazy. He'll pop up somewhere. And
or maybe he became friends with somebody.
And then all of a sudden, they're like, hey, where are you? What are you doing? We're supposed to leave today.
They look for him. I believe it's the other Dave finds out that Dave, who wanted to see Metallica, died in the mosh pits of heat exhaustion. Heat stroke, but it was compounded because the medics thought he was ODing on drugs.
Right, and he said that they never brought drugs. They weren't doing drugs. They didn't bring anything like that. And they didn't handle it very well. And then he was crying and he said, somebody has to call his mom and tell her what happened.
Also with the medical stuff, there was a story that an EMT told about basically this girl being sexually harassed on the last day.
She was assaulted.
Yep.
And so he saw the girl being wrapped in a blanket by the nurse, and he's like, hey, what's going on? And she said, oh, they're just savages. And they were telling a story about I'm not even going to repeat what they were doing to her because it was horrible. And she could have gotten killed or she could have gotten seriously hurt, and they had to take her out.
Somebody who was there, who I believe was a reporter, would later start a website or a group where she encourages people who are sexual assault victims to come forward. And she said that she got like dozens and dozens of emails from different women who attended Woodstock 99. Some as young as 14 who said that they were raped.
Yeah.
It did not look good.
I also think that they should have made rules with the age limit of teenagers, because 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, I don't know that they should have gone there.
Now, in fairness, I don't know what the rules were. So it could have been you're 18 or older, and 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds who went there had fake ideas.
It's possible that could have happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it could have also been that they were allowed to go there.
Right.
And that's a tricky situation.
And it was, I mean, yeah, and there probably were more than 8 reported sexual assaults, but they didn't want to report them.
You mean assaults in general?
At the shows, yes.
Yeah.
Terrible stuff.
Terrible stuff.
And just how gross it was.
And that, women were encouraged to walk around without their tops on, which is a guy. It's like, oh, great. I could see being a guy there, especially who I was in 99 and loving that type of thing. But the problem is, in an environment like that where people are super angry and there's no one really watching out for people, it's not a safe environment to where you can just do that. Yeah. And if you're a young woman and you don't know that that's not like a place where it's like all friendly, right? At first, things can get out of hand very, very quickly. And
and I know some of the groups were saying, I forgot which group it was, but they were saying, hey, if you're crowd surfing and you see a woman, don't touch her. Yep. But then he told the woman to grab the guys, so grab that his
fucking balls. That was Offspring.
The Offspring.
Yep.
Well, you had to repeat it, Bub.
Sorry, you wanted to do it, yeah, Bub. You Bub.
Bubs.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, basically, I mean, why was it okay for the girls to grab the guys, but it wasn't okay for the guys to grab the girls? Right?
I hear what you're saying, and I think that with the passage of time and seeing somebody on a stage, we can almost look at people like they're these preachers who know more than we do. And even though intellectually we know they're musicians, but there's something about seeing somebody speak to a large audience that was a long time ago. So I think maybe that part was a joke that didn't land well with us.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense to me.
I think it was more, I took that as more of a joke that just didn't go over well.
Yeah.
Because of where we are now.
Right, exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
Last day happens, and Red Hot Chili Peppers take the stage.
Well, yes, and by this time, before that, Alanis Morissette and Jewel performed, and by this time the crowd was different.
I believe Alanis Morissette performed on Saturday.
Was it Saturday? I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I want to say Jewel played Sunday. Yeah. Because that was one of the things they said, is that there was only like one female performer for each of the days.
Right, okay.
Because it was such a testosterone fueled event.
Right, exactly, okay.
So, during the Chili Peppers performance, the crowd starts taking down the other stage and setting things on fire. And goes out of hand. Chili Peppers close the set with Let Me Stand Next to Your Fire.
Yeah. Fire by Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they show footage from police officers entering the venue, trying to get the crowd under control. It's super interesting. I'm wondering, because obviously we've established that I knew about this and you didn't. Mm-hmm. What was your experience watching this movie as a complete not knowing much about it?
Well, at the time, I'm going to put some context in here, because at the time when this was going on, I was out of the country. I was in the Philippines with my family for a month, so I didn't even know that was happening. That's probably why I missed it.
Oh.
But I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is just like one big college frat party.
Yeah.
Where anything goes, it's a free-for-all, there's chaos everywhere, there's no security doing anything. The EMTs, some of them aren't handling the illness as well. The helicopters had to bring supplies. It was just a major, it was a disaster. It wasn't a beautiful disaster, it was a disaster. In all intents and purposes.
It was. And there's something that's said in the documentary, and it kind of comes up a few times, that we tend to look at the 1969 version of Woodstock with rose-colored eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Because we hear the stories of peace and love and harmony.
And tranquility.
But we don't hear about the groups who looted stores there. We don't hear about cases of sexual misconduct at that festival.
Right, because I would imagine that, because that era was, that was the beginning of the free love era.
It was kind of near the end of it.
Near the end of it, right. You know what I mean?
But it was before MTV and before the internet was a thing. And one of the things when I'm listening last night about all the sexual misconduct that went on in 99 is, if we had had MTV in 1969
mm-hmm.
and the internet, how many cases would we have heard of rape going on at the first Woodstock?
I don't know.
And we'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never know that.
So and somebody said something about Michael Lang somewhat early on in the documentary about how Michael Lang is kind of like Willy Wonka. He's a lot of fun to hang with the first couple minutes, but the more time you spend around him, the more you kind of see through the veneer. And you want more. I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Willy Wonka was a fun movie. I love that movie.
But you wouldn't necessarily want to live.
You wouldn't want to live in the chocolate factory unless you were Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to work for Gene Wilder for too long.
What is this film?
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I want to address a couple of things before we ask questions.
Go ahead.
Because women were being objectified.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there was a very disturbing scene. I thought it was really disturbing, where Rosie Perez is on stage and they're telling her to show her boobs, and she basically made it clear that she wasn't showing anybody anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the women were saying, how dare these guys try to treat these women like they're nothing, but then there wasn't any set rules. Like, they were allowed to walk around naked, and they didn't put any disclaimers like, but don't be surprised if somebody grabs you. If you don't want to get grabbed, don't get naked.
Yeah.
Also, don't be surprised if men do stupid things like breaking the wall. Because remember, at the last day they broke the wall
near the start of the day.
So stupid. And don't be surprised that people are going to act like idiots, because they were allowed to act like idiots. They were allowed to act like they were no longer grown-ups anymore, and they were no longer mature. And I believe that like this documentary showed like a lot of blame and denial.
Yes.
The white men were blamed for being white and young, and they just thought, oh, this is because they're so masculine, that's why they act like this. Fred Durst was blamed for, he didn't help, but
he definitely didn't help the situation.
Fred Durst was blamed for egging on more anger and rage, which he didn't really help. People were questioning why there was music all night long, and why was there rave stuff going on after the Anger Fest during the day. Mm-hmm. It was just there was, the security was just, after a while, it just was non-existent. It just seemed like it.
Well, and also with the security too, it made it sound like most of them just took a 3-hour class where they were given the answers.
Exactly.
And they were allowed to work.
And they weren't
the festival.
They weren't trained for 3 days as opposed to 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been able to retain the information if it was like a 3-day class.
Yeah.
And that wasn't done. So anyone off the street could have been security guard.
And I would have had them be people who had worked security before.
Exactly.
Instead of somebody who had passed the class, even if it was a 3-day one.
Exactly. I also wonder how long they were trained as EMTs.
I don't know.
I don't know either. They never went into that.
No.
I'm sure that there were some trained EMTs there that actually were EMTs, but what happened to that one Dave was so horribly, tragically handled.
Yeah, there was a real EMT in there because one guy talked about how he worked all these hurricanes, and I know that they came after the film, but the impression that I got was that he was an EMT for real before Woodstock 99, and he was the one who said it was the greatest disaster I was ever in.
Right.
Yeah.
And everything came to a stop when the police officers finally showed up to clean everything up, which they should have. They should have been called a long time ago, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Because people were being assaulted. There probably may have been people that died because of the heat, besides Dave.
I don't know. I don't know if he's the only one who died there, or if there was more people. But
yeah, but they should have been. They should have been called a long time ago before this got really, really out of hand, and it didn't. It shouldn't have had to take a huge fire to get them over there.
There was a point made about white privilege in the movie. One of the rioters was interviewed, and he said, when the police came, they basically just broke us up peacefully. But if this would have been a hip-hop concert, and it would have been a bunch of black guys, the police would have gone in there with guns drawn, and it would have ended differently. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but I know that you remember that part of the documentary.
Yeah, I was disappointed that it even had to be mentioned.
I think that there's truth to that, though.
I don't know that. I mean, maybe there was truth to it, but I don't know that white privilege would have been the word to use. I think it should have been. I think that there definitely would have been differences, but just to blame it on white privilege, I was just disappointed that was even mentioned.
But I do think that if it was a hip hop culture and it was like black guys burning down one of the stages and breaking into all the booths, it probably would have ended a lot differently and a lot more tragically. But we won't know.
We'll never know.
We will never know.
But I felt like what really frustrated me was that Michael Lang, especially Michael Lang, was saying, no, I mean, it wasn't as bad as it was. And I'm thinking, you are so in denial.
He's in denial because he still wants to make money off of the Woodstock brand, is my opinion. Right.
And then the reporter, I think, was saying, hey, these people did not ask to have a Woodstock.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like it was brought up in a discussion with teens and 20-somethings. Hey, do you think there should be a Woodstock 99? And she was talking about how the baby boomers wanted younger people to have the experience that they had, but it just turned out to be a complete disaster.
Yeah.
In the worst way possible. Even though 94, I mean, after 94, they should have been like, okay, we've done it already. I think that should have been it.
Or find out what worked from 94.
Right,
and
exactly.
The original Woodstock and try to apply that.
Did you hear the broadcast of 94's Woodstock? Because I wasn't.
No. No, I knew that it was going on, but this was before I was really into music. I'm sure you can find probably versions of it online, though.
And I wasn't really watching a whole lot of MTV, and well, I was, but I wasn't watching it a lot, like every single day.
I wasn't watching it in 94. We didn't even have cable.
Right.
Yeah.
I watched a few shows, but I didn't have it on constantly. But I think once it came, I mean the most shows that I really liked was The Real World, and then later Road Rules, and then there was True Life.
Beavis and Butthead you enjoyed.
I did not like that.
Oh.
I thought Beavis and Butthead was and I liked MTV videos in the morning.
I did too.
Yeah, those were fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my jam.
Nice.
But I mean, yeah, that shouldn't have happened. The whole thing was just a debacle and a disaster.
What does this film teach us about the power of influence in large crowds?
Oh yeah, I think and I keep going back to Limp Bizkit because they did have the power in the crowd,
and they did get pushed back in the press after Woodstock 99.
Yeah. And they had a lot of influence because they knew their demographic.
Mm-hmm.
They knew their audience. So did Metallica and Rage Against the Machine. Moby, maybe not so much. I don't know.
Yeah, and Moby was playing the rave section, and it sounded like, at least from what he was saying, that he had a bad vibe going into the events.
Yeah.
And that him and his crew were originally planning to stay the entire weekend, but right after a set, they all left.
Which was I think that was very smart on their part.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't know that it was going to get so crazy until later on.
But even he talked about how Woodstock was this iconic thing for him growing up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does this teach us about the power to influence a large crowd?
You definitely could if you had enough power, for sure. And if you knew your audience and your demographic. It does say a lot about nostalgia too, because as I've mentioned a little bit ago, that the baby boomers, and I think they were well-meaning.
Yeah.
I can't say that they weren't thinking about this. They were well-meaning. They just didn't execute it well. They wanted the younger folks to have a cool experience like they did, but they didn't know going into it that it wasn't. They didn't think about it. They didn't plan it well.
I think in some sense they were well-meaning, but I also think they wanted to make a lot of money. Yeah. And they saw this as an opportunity to fill their pockets.
I think they were well-meaning, but I also think that there was definitely a disconnect.
Yes.
With the younger generation. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, Woodstock 50 basically got canceled, if you believe most of the press reports, because they wanted so much money and they were greedy. And their greed was just too much for the audience that would have gone to something like that.
I also think that the people that went there was using greed as an excuse to loot and vandalize, because they didn't, like Joel is saying, that they did that stuff because they believed that they didn't have a purpose.
I hear what you're saying. I think there's a little bit of truth to that. See, with this thing, I think there's a lot of blame that you could pass around to a lot of different people. Mm-hmm. Some of it the audience, some of it the performers, but mainly the people who put on the festival.
Absolutely. They have if anybody should be blamed, it should be the ones who planned it, because it wasn't planned very well.
Yeah, but if you're in a hot place for 3 days and you can't really shower and there's not good access to water, I could see how somebody might riot. And the guy one of the rioters who they were interviewing in the documentary, the same guy who made the comment about how this would have ended differently if it was black kids at a hip hop culture, also said that he was just like a normal kid and he never thought that he would riot until he was in that situation.
That was the same guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he said, a mild-mannered kid like myself would not have done that. Mm-hmm. And I just acted like an idiot the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff.
It is crazy stuff.
And you feel for the women who were abused during it.
For sure.
And that doesn't mean that they were correct for walking around topless.
No.
Right. But
no.
And you also feel for the guy who died at the Metallica show.
Yeah, and also too, like, the environment was so hostile already. Mm-hmm. If you combine the alcohol and the drugs coming in, it wasn't going to be the kind of environment that a woman would want to be in for too long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of blame to go around, but also a lot of sadness that people were affected greatly because of this.
What were you thinking this documentary was going to be when we went into it versus what it turned out being?
I didn't realize it was going to go into depth as to how disastrous it was. Mm-hmm. I thought they were going to say, "Oh, these are the people that went and it was too hot." They were, I thought it was going to be a short documentary, like an hour.
Yeah,
but it wasn't, and it went into great depths as to what really happened. And I'm glad that they were really truthful, and I'm glad that there was like a back and forth. Like, Michael Lang was saying, "Oh, it really wasn't that bad," and he was also saying, "But I blame MTV."
Yeah.
And MTV was like, "No, we actually just reported on this. We were just reporting what was going on," and people had to leave.
Yeah, at one point, MTV got out of there because Viacom, their parent company, told everybody who was part of their crew, "We can't guarantee your safety at this event."
And women were being told, "You shouldn't go because it really isn't safe for you guys now. It's a completely a crazy zone."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I couldn't believe like these people were trying to break the wall. They broke the wall.
They broke the wall. And I remember that one lady who was a guest at the event, and she said she heard tear down this wall from her tent, I think.
Yeah.
And she thinks, oh, maybe it's a surprise performance from Pink Floyd.
And it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was just that's what the people were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh wow, okay. I thought it was about Pink Floyd."
Yeah.
And no, it wasn't.
No.
Yeah, I remember that. But instead of it, and it's sad because it didn't have to be that way either.
No.
It didn't have to be that way. It could have been a totally cool festival and nobody died. And I also think that it was a big mistake to have music playing and they didn't have like an end time and they didn't have a beginning time.
Yeah, so is this, you're just up for days.
Right.
On lack of water.
On lack of water and probably lack of food too.
And being angry because things aren't working out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I've told you this privately, like all of the fairs and I haven't gone to a lot of fairs or festivals, but out of all the things that I've been to outdoors, they had a beginning time and an end time, and it was organized that way.
Mm-hmm.
People had to go home when they went home. People came back when they came back. And there wasn't any loitering, littering, or any of that stuff.
In this situation, they wanted people to camp out there, but I think that you could also just end the movie and say, or end the music for the day and say, all right, camp out now. It's like, I don't know, midnight. We'll start music at 10 the next day, but you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys get some good rest and all that. And then, yeah, I just think that having a rave music after all that,
mm-hmm.
even though people would be up, it's just not a good idea. And it's interesting. Wouldn't it be interesting if we watched this and then Insomnia, or Insomnia and then this?
Yeah.
I think about that now, Insomnia, how it's so bad to not have sleep for 6 days. 3 to 6 days.
What's that thing the narrator says in Fight Club? The funny thing about insomnia is when you have it, you're never really asleep and you're never really awake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What would you rate this movie on a scale from 1 to 10?
I think I give it an 8.
It's
a strong
really,
8.
Yeah.
Because it really goes into depth about, hey, this is maybe... and they also talked about Napster, too.
They mentioned it.
Yeah, they mentioned it. That was kind of interesting.
It's weird because we were alive and very conscious during the summer of 99, but it really was a different world in so many different ways.
When the Napster thing was exposed, I was thinking to myself, hey, I don't know what the laws are for downloading music, but people are going to download it no matter who tells them no. Mm-hmm. They're going to find a way to do it. How are they going to arrest everybody who does it? Because I'm sure I know people that have probably downloaded from Napster, and one of my cousins was into Kazaa.
Yeah. And also Columbine comes up because the way that they set the second stage on fire was there was this nonprofit group that was giving out free candles to people. And they wanted to have a moment of solidarity for the victims of the Columbine massacre.
Exactly. And then they used that to burn the stage.
Yeah. That would never happen today. Just because there's so many mass shootings in America.
No, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. They would be very, very sensitive to that. But the same thing kind of, I don't know about the fires, but the same thing was happening during Hurricane Katrina with all the looting and vandalism too.
Yeah.
Which was very uncalled for, I think.
And Fred Durst was not in that situation.
No.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't sound like a very nice person. I
Oh.
hope he's changed, but he doesn't sound like a very nice person.
Oh. I think of Fred Durst as a lovable douchebag.
I don't know if you can put lovable and douchebag in the same sentence.
Oh, I just did, babes.
Yeah, but that's you.
That's me.
The douchebag you hate to love.
Thank you. Would you recommend this film to your family or friends? And if so, what's your elevator pitch?
This is how nostalgia can go awry. If you really want to see it. Maybe, I don't know if I would recommend it to my family just because some of them were not born in 99.
Oh, that's a good point.
And they wouldn't really understand it.
Yeah.
I probably would have my sisters watch it. Because we were teens in 99 and we were in the Philippines, so we were out of the country. They might appreciate it. And they might think, oh boy, I'm glad I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Very good, babes. Is there anything else you want to say about the documentary?
Good music clips.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not surprised that HBO showed everything, and I mean everything, because HBO has never been a channel that censored a lot of things.
I don't think you see vagina in the HBO documentary.
But you did definitely see boobs.
Yeah. And I could be wrong. Maybe there's a shot of some beef, but I didn't catch it.
Beef.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I don't get that. They don't have teeth.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying, love.
Yes. There we go, there. Well, but yeah, it was good stuff. I highly recommend it.
There weren't any. I know that they were shirtless guys, but there weren't any like full on naked guys, right?
I didn't see any hog, if that's what you mean. Oh. No, so I don't think there's any naked guys in the documentary. I'm sure there were naked guys there.
Well, it was pretty much implied that girls and guys would hook up a lot during that weekend, which
I could believe.
I could believe that.
Yeah.
It was like spring break gone
acid and cocaine.
Wild, yeah. And they also mentioned the Girls Gone Wild thing, which was really popular during that time, which I wouldn't watch, but a lot of the guys, that was their porn.
Yeah.
That was what they liked to watch at the time. And
it was very popular.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember hearing promos for that on TV.
They used to air it when Howard Stern had his show on E. They used to air the advertisements for Girls Gone Wild pretty much every night.
Yeah, I would hear that late at night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who would watch that unless you're a guy?
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then years after that, they had this movie called The Real Cancun. Have you heard about that one?
No.
I didn't care to watch it, but it's supposed to be about these young people that went to Cancun, and this one guy and girl hooked up, and yeah, I'm like, who wants to watch that?
Yeah.
That just sounds stupid to me.
Oh.
That just sounds like young people going on spring break and acting wild. It's just basically what it is.
Well, good.
That's how I see it.
Yes.
But I never got into those things, Bubs.
There we go there, Jaylo. There we go there.
Yes.
Yes. I'm glad you liked the documentary there, Jaylo.
Jaylo.
I hope we did a good job covering it.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
It was very good, but it was also very, very disturbing. And tragic.
Yes.
Not as disturbing as Streetwise, but
Streetwise is more intense.
Is very intense. It was very, very sad. It wasn't like these kids didn't have any place to go.
No.
They had homes.
Yes. Most of them.
Most of them had homes, yeah.
Yeah. Well, good, babes.
Very good.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
You know what? I don't think so.
I think we did good. I don't remember having a dream last night.
I don't either, but it definitely took me a while to get to sleep. I don't know why that is. Oh, and I think it's possible too that because I was slightly congested last night. I'm not anymore. Don't worry, I'm not sick.
Okay.
I was slightly congested last night, and that was part of it. And it was hot last night too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. But, yeah, but...
Very good, babes. Maybe we should end this with a kissy.
Kissy. To another year.
To another year. Number 4.
Whoa. Stop it.
Sorry, I didn't know.
It's distracting.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. All right, babes, unless there's anything else you want to say.
I don't think so.
All right. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.